just asked me about this recognition here. This one. These people here, if they could, they'd really love to be able to go first and be able to leave, rather than waiting until after the presentation and everything.
Okay, are they here?
They are here.
I didn't see
I
Michelle.
was asking if the people that are doing the vaudeville communities of care presentation could kind of get in there earlier so they don't have to wait for all the presentation and all that. Because I think they're here.
Yeah, be good. Just talk to me. Yeah. So do the recognitions, because I think the communities of care is going to be short. Yeah, yeah.
Three of them.
What? How are you? Great. Thanks for coming. How are you doing? Thanks so much for being here tonight. We saw them there. We just a moment ago. There's Gina. Well, she said there are 37. 37. I think the other is about I mentioned also they asked, Lakeview asked if they could get a picture. So after the Lakeview kids sing, maybe the board could come up with the Lakeview kids and get a picture with them. The kids are so excited to be here. Okay.
We'd like to welcome you all out to board meeting this evening. We have quite a crowd. Santa Claus must be coming. He won't be here tonight, but he must be coming pretty soon. We've got quite a crowd. So we welcome you here this evening. We're going to first, we would like to excuse Dean Oborn. He is not going to be with us this evening. And at this time, we'd like to turn the time over to Lakeview Elementary for the Lakeview Elementary Choir. So I invite you all up at this time. When the choir is finished with their presentation, Trent Johnson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we will have a little photo op at that point after the pledge. And so we'll ask the students to all stay up front. Thank you. Tech, do we have some music that's
Okay, so our next one, we've been excited about. It's called Still, 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 and some of you have lyrics for this, and I don't know if most of you probably know this song, and so we thought, if this is one of your favorite songs, sing with us. So if you know this one, we're doing it a cappella, so I need to give us our first note. Remember, we practiced it like this? These are for our oohs. Okay, Miss Vigil and I are going to help you. Let me get my ooh. Okay, that's ooh. Okay, ready? 1, 2. Ooh, 1, 2, ready, go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Still, 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 one can hear the falling snow. For all is hushed, the world is sleeping. Holy star is vigil keeping. Still, 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 one can hear the falling snow. Ooh, ooh. Sleep, sleep, sleep. 'Tis the eve of our Savior's birth. The night is peaceful all around you. Close your eyes, sleep surround you. Sleep, sleep, sleep. 'Tis the eve of our Savior's birth. Ooh, ooh. Dream, dream, dream of the joyous day to come, while guardian angels without number watch you as you sweetly slumber. Dream, dream, dream of the joyous day to come. Good. That's it. Good. Val? Good. Okay. And then, thank you. And then Trent Johnson is going to lead us in the pledge, and then we'll leave and the meeting can start. Okay. So Trent, can you come here so that you'll go and stand right here. Probably everybody here.
You go ahead right there. That's it. Right there. Just tell me how pledge of allegiance.
May the audience please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board, they asked if we could get a picture with the children. Can we do that real quick?
Let's have another round of applause for the Lakeview Choir. We'll let everyone clear, and then that will create some chairs for those of you that are here remaining and would wish not to stand. So please come up and find a seat and join us. There are a lot of chairs up in the front here on the right side. Please come up and fill them up. Unlike church, it's okay to sit on the front row here.
Do see Michelle and Gary here.
Okay, let's proceed with our agenda. The first item on our agenda this evening for the board is the consent calendar. Board, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Moved by Janice. Second by Rick. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Now we will move on to our recognitions, and we will start by turning the time over to Dr. Rod Belknap for the Fremont High School Volunteer Award. Dr. Belknap.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening and amongst you, and really appreciate the opportunity to recognize one of the great people in our community, in the Fremont community. There are a lot of people that give a lot to schools that make it such a special place. One of those people is Lee Cragen. We want Lee to come on up. Lee, if you'd come on up, please. Now, I convinced Lee to come here, and I assured him that there's just a few people that were going to be here tonight. So, okay, anyway, it's all relative. We really appreciate what Lee's done, and I want to talk just for a few minutes. Our mission at Fremont High School includes creating enrichment opportunities, if you see that up there. And I know one of the important points that we want to make is that the Weber Way is all about educating the whole child. And what Lee does is he's created enrichment opportunities for countless numbers of students. And one of these opportunities to do this is through the Booster Club at Fremont High School with the marching band. We've gone through a couple of teachers in a row, and really what we needed is a stabilizing influence from the parent perspective. And what Lee's done is remarkable. And I want to tell you just a few things of what he is. Lee is a communicator. He takes all of the information that Miss Laura, our teacher there at Fremont High School and band director, needs to get out to parents. And Lee's really the voice of this. He's able to get this information out to all the parents and students, and has been a remarkable person in terms of being a visionary. It's a program that's growing, and Lee could see that, and so he was able to do some amazing things to be able to help grow it. I'm going to show you here in just a minute one of the videos, a video that he created that's really pretty neat, and we take those videos down to the junior high schools and recruit students. Can we play that if we can? It's awesome. Yeah. Feels a little like a Rocky video. And I mean, it just gets you so excited to be a part of band, and that's what Lee does in part, is he gets everyone excited, and students and parents always positive, always building kids up, always helping them understand that they've gotten better all the time. Those are the kinds of messages that you hear about Lee. He's a recruiter, he's a cheerleader. He helped us get new uniforms for the first time in many, many years. He helped us raise the money to be able to get new uniforms for the band. They also were able to raise enough money to get a trailer, a big band dinner. They have a dinner with a jazz band, and the jazz band gets together and they all make it sound just like the olden days with all the big band sounds, and it's awesome. And they raise some money there, family dinners, competition days. He's everywhere. And he just makes people feel special everywhere he goes, and it's something that is really a neat thing. High schools and schools in general are great because, in part, of community. And Lee's a part of the community. Mr. Cragen spends endless hours there at the school. He's always there to help carry instruments and help students out wherever they're needed. I love the quote, "Nothing that you have not given away will ever be really yours." And that's really what Lee is all about. I want to just show you a few comments. These are some comments that some of the band members have made about. He has organized a lot of fundraisers that helped us buy the equipment we needed. He comes to color guard before competition and gives encouragement. He's always on top of things at the competitions. He's very nice and encourages us to play good, giving us positive feedback and being encouraging at competitions before we perform. I've seen Lee Cragen show us new perspectives in playing, and we've learned a lot from his volunteering. Lee has put countless hours in. I've been able to watch him work from not only the band, but also at home working with other boosters. He is a huge part of the band, is an amazing leader, and we love Lee so much. This year, we've had a great year so far in marching band, and this has been because of our amazing teacher, Miss Laura, who's here in the back. Miss Laura. And also because of the parent support we've had. Lee Cragen has been at the heart of this support, and I'm so thankful for Lee and all of the help and support he's given us and continues to give us. I honestly don't know what we would do without him. What an invaluable asset to a program, to be able to have parents who invest in kids and in programs. We really appreciate Lee Cragen and thank him for being here tonight. And board, we'd like to recognize him with our volunteer award. Lee. If you would, please introduce who's here with you here tonight. Anything else you'd like to say?
I don't need to say anything. I think my cup runneth over. My wife is back here, and two of my children, both Fremont band students. So thank you. I appreciate this. This is something that you don't always expect to have in your life, but I just appreciate the honor and the respect, and I hope that it's something we can carry on, and I hope that if you truly are excited about education, that you'll consider music in that part of your education. It gives to the rest of your life. It really does.
Thank you. Board.
Thanks.
Lee gives a whole new meaning to Band-Aid. Okay, we thank you very much. We will now turn the time over to Art Hansen for the E+ Team Award.
President Richardson, Board, Superintendent Stevens, it's my pleasure to present two fantastic educators as our newest recipients of the E+ Team Award. If I could have Annette Pham and Amy Anderson come up for a second. We're going to embarrass you for a minute. These two ladies are truly amazing. I love spending time out at Two Rivers High School where they teach social studies. They are so much fun to watch in action. It's just a great school in general, and we're so proud of teachers that care. When I go into a school, I'm always trying to gauge, how are the students interacting with their teachers and their administrators and stuff. And when you walk into Two Rivers High School, it's like a family atmosphere. And these are two of the moms of the school. In fact, I think their students would concur there. They were nominated by their principal, Jeff Marchant, and the assistant principal, Nicole Warren Doman. And in that nomination process, or the awards committee, we looked at all these great nominees for awards, and it was a no-brainer that we select these two ladies for the E+ Team Award. And I just want to read a couple paragraphs from Mr. Marchant's letter, nomination letter, because it really tells you how they've gone above and beyond. Superintendent Stevens talks frequently about the Weber Way. We don't just have high expectations for students' academics. We do have all that, but we believe in the whole child and educating the whole child, and it's more than just the academic part. And these two are, I've never seen any two people just reach in and give up all their free time that they have. They give up their lunches, they give up time after school because they want to be interacting with the kids all the time. So Mr. Marchant, he said a lot more, and I'll give you a copy of the letter that he wrote, but I'm going to just take a couple parts of it. He says, these two ladies never stop thinking of ways to help our students. They give of their time and energy every day in the interest of our students. For example, they know that many of our students leave campus during lunch and put themselves in unsafe circumstances. Amy and Annette noticed a need and chose to give up their lunchtime to open up a school store.
Oh dear.
They provide a safe place for students to have a snack, enjoy a healthy conversation, and make a connection with a caring adult rather than leaving the school. They have arranged numerous service projects in an effort to help our students shift the focus from their own difficult circumstances to the needs of those around them. These two ladies have spearheaded activities like giving thanks for Thanksgiving, planting trees on our campus, organizing a student council, and partnering with the Kiwanis Club to organize a key club at Two Rivers. Finally, these teachers were aware that for some of our students, school lunch is the only meal they eat. In response, these teachers organized a food pantry at Two Rivers. They sponsored food drives to gather ingredients for simple meal recipes and have organized students to put together grub bags. And I watched them handing out grub bags after school. The kids gather around and they're handing out food and telling them, okay, try that recipe. Go eat that. The grub bags are a single bag with an easy recipe and everything in the bag the student would need to cook a nice dinner at home. If there is a student in need, you will find these two educators nearby, ready to help. Every conversation leads to the discussion on how to help the whole child. Amy and Annette are changing student lives every day. I believe they are most deserving of the E+ Team Award. And let's give them a hand. And the committee felt the same as Mr. Marchant. Now, to get the real feel of it, we've asked students to share a few thoughts. So let's see what the students have to say. what do they say about Amy here? She motivates you to graduate. Anderson is so flippin' awesome. She is super nice, and it has helped me in financial lit. She is a selfless and kind teacher. She honestly cares and wants to make her students thrive and succeed. And this last one is pretty powerful. You could be having the worst day, feeling unloved, but the moment you walk into Mrs. Anderson's room, you instantly feel her love. You feel better, you feel safe. If you were to have a safe place at Two Rivers, it would be with Mrs. Anderson. How's that? Okay, Annette Pham. Students say, she has helped me set goals for myself and wants to see me do good. She is awesome because she actually shows she cares about the students and their well-being, not just their grades in school. She is compassionate and loving. You can come to school knowing Mrs. Pham is eager to teach and have her students learn with a smile on their face and with enthusiasm to take on the day. And finally, I appreciate Mrs. Pham because she's like the supportive mom that I never had. And she encourages me to support and supports me when no one else does. Does that say it all, you guys? So here's the students at Two Rivers High School. They love these two ladies, and these two ladies love them. It's evident, and they are so deserving of the E+ Team Award. We appreciate you so much. And this is a team award, so you can decide where you're going to have this on that. All right? Okay. If we could have you just share who you have brought with you tonight, then the board would like some photos with you. All right? One more hand. Good job.
I was told I wouldn't have to do any speaking. So anyway, but my husband is here, Trin and Andrew and Kennedy. And my lovely family from Two Rivers are here. Thank you, Colleen and Judy. And thanks, Jeff and Nicole. And thanks, everyone. And Amy, because you should never have handed me a microphone. I'd like to think, no, I'm just kidding. It really is a team, and it takes a village to raise a child. And I definitely believe that and have seen it. We're better because we're a team.
That's for sure. Definitely a team. We get these crazy ideas, and we have some amazing ladies in the office that help us make it happen. We could not do it without them and the rest of the school. It's a whole school. It's all the teachers together. We are truly a family there. And the kids say, you know, what did you do to get sent to Two Rivers? And we tell them we can't tell. We're not supposed to say that. But people out in the community ask me, why do you teach there? And I wouldn't teach anywhere else. It is, as I told Jeff when he came to substitute as an administrator once, they said it is the best kept secret in Weber County, so shh, don't tell anyone. But I am here with my husband, Eric, and my youngest child, Preston. The older two couldn't make it, school and basketball and other responsibilities. But thank you.
Another round of applause for these two fine teachers. We're going to make a little change in our agenda this evening. We're going to move to item number 6 and then back to item number 5. By way of introduction on item number 6, it's the presentation of the Bonneville Communities That Care District Award. And before we turn the time over to Mr. Craig Povey, we'd like to introduce the Honorable Judge Michelle Heward, who is with us this evening. Michelle. Kevin Eastman, who is the Executive Director of Weaver Human Services. And, and Craig Povey, who's with the Utah Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health. So at this time, we'd like to turn the time over to Craig Povey. It's going to be Judge Heward.
And Kevin Eastman.
Okay.
In front of everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is the place to hang out. What a wonderful place to be this evening. It's nice to be here and to hear of all the good things that are happening in our community. We are here this evening, not because we're getting something from the school board, but we are giving to the school board in appreciation. I'm here representing, Kevin and I are here representing the Bonneville Communities That Care Coalition. And this year, the coalition received an award down in southern Utah from the substance abuse folks at the state for the Coalition of the Year Award. And the coalition, we are presenting that award to the school district tonight on behalf of the coalition, because we wouldn't be able to function without the support of the school district. So thank you very much. And I would like to tell you just a little bit about what the coalition is doing and the good work that your efforts are supporting. And Kevin, you could probably speak to this better. In 2010, Kevin Eastman got the coalition started and spoke with administrators at the school district, with Craig Povey at the state substance abuse. And the idea was that prevention is really where we need to put our efforts. I work in the juvenile court. I'm afraid that so much of what we end up doing is reactionary to what is happening. Prevention is getting out there ahead of things and trying to prevent our youth from drinking alcohol and engaging in the use of illegal substances. So the coalition was started, and they've been able to really engage in a number of wonderful things. Initially, well, one of the first things that they did was a drug place, have a place where you could bring your used drugs so that they're not hanging around in your medicine cabinets. Apparently the first one, Craig indicates that they could put the drugs that were collected in a shoebox. Of course, law enforcement was involved with this, but in a shoebox, and they were disposed of. Last year, the event gathered over 200 pounds last spring of drugs. Just in the Bonneville area, there were about 1,400 pounds countywide that came in. And if you think about how much a pill weighs, that's a lot of pills that are getting out of people's medicine cabinets and where they should be disposed of properly. I'm sorry, over 1,400 pounds were taken in the county. They have distributed over 150 free trigger locks to support suicide prevention efforts. The coalition hosted a naloxone training, and there were over 30 naloxone kits. And for those of you who don't know what naloxone is, it's something that can stop an overdose. It can reverse the effects of an overdose. And you may think that it only applies to someone who intentionally takes drugs and overdoses. It also has been used many times for the elderly who get confused and end up overdosing on their medication, or others. It has saved lots of lives. The schools, one of the best events that we have had is nearly 2,000 people from our community attended an effort that was hosted at Washington. Which elementary? Washington Terrace? 2? Roosevelt and Riverdale elementaries, and about 2,000 people ended up attending those, and the community, the efforts were focused on what parents can do to eliminate underage drinking. So the relationship that the coalition has with the schools, being able to work with parents in the schools, students in the schools, being able to see what the student, or to work with the schools, has been invaluable. So thank you for allowing that effort to go forward. Finally, as you look on the papers that have been handed out, the success, there was a baseline study, SHARP study, that was done in 2011, looking at things like parental attitudes, the children's attitudes towards drugs, alcohol use in the last 30 days, marijuana use in the last 30 days. You can see those across the graph there. The blue on the graph represents what those attitudes, or what those results were in 2011, but you can see that by 2015 on the red, that those had all substantially decreased in those areas. And those are the areas that the coalition is really working on. So we just wanted to thank the schools for the support, for the resources. A particular thanks to Art Hansen, who was the principal of Bonneville at the time that this got started, to Principal Long and Principal Hadley, and also Dave Burt, who has really worked. I saw Dave earlier. There he is. Worked with the coalition. I hate to mention names because I know that I'm leaving out a number of people, but thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Kevin, was there anything that you wanted to say?
No, just wanted to recognize too Mr. Ward and John, and there's probably many other people. There's a lot of people behind this, parents, and we're always recruiting any parent that wants to get involved. We'd love to have you. There's lots to do.
For prevention. So thank you very much. And Superintendent, if we could present this, go ahead, Kevin, Ward, or Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. Thank you, as always.
This is such a great partnership and has done so much for the kids in this community. We're going to get them in the other school.
Thank you.
I just mentioned while they're shaking hands, this represents such a tremendous partnership between parents, community, and the school district, and it allows the community to really narrow in on the unique needs of the children and the students in that specific community. So this Bonneville Communities That Care partnership has just been outstanding. Thanks to Kevin, Michelle, Craig, so many others who, and our principals, teachers, and so forth, and parents that have been involved in this. Just great.
Judge Stewart, I loved your perspective on being proactive instead of reactive. I sympathize with your position to just be the reactive person. But we thank you so much for being with us tonight, and thank you so much for that award and all the people in the district that have made that possible. We now will go back to 5, to student response team. We have a lot of people here for this evening, and we appreciate your patience. And we'll now turn the time over to Gina Butters.
Great board members, President Richardson, Superintendent Stevens. The Student Services team is really excited to be here tonight. We've got some wonderful kids and parents to recognize and honor. What we'd like to do is just provide a quick overview of an initiative we have had operating in our schools for quite some time, wherein peers are looking out for their peers. We have some students in this room that are some of the most compassionate people around. They've been handpicked to look out for their peers who might be struggling through any sort of crisis. We call them our student response teams, and we need to first of all give them a big hand. We'll be doing that here in just a minute, but I want to make sure that we recognize their parents for raising such great empathetic kids who just have a tendency to make sure that other people are feeling okay about themselves and about their day, and we're really proud of these kids, so we're excited to tell you a little bit about them. Sarah Allen, one of our great student services coordinators, is headed up this program and has been vital in keeping it going and has done a wonderful job training our student response teams, and she's going to provide the quick overview today. Again, we're very proud and we're excited to share a little information with you tonight.
Okay, student response team members, I need you to hustle up here to the front. Over here. Come on up. The guy on the crutch, don't trip him. There's a guy on the crutches. Come on up here, guys. Tallest to the back. Just so. I invited 205 students tonight. That's why one of the reasons why this room is so crowded. There's 205 members. I need the advisors to come up too. Come on up, advisors. I'm going to come over here then. So there's 205 students response team members. They all received an invite in all 13 of our secondary schools. And so this represents a great portion of these kids. Love these kids, plus the advisors. Advisors, raise your hands. Yeah, thank you for being here. I know it's at a busy night. So student response team, they've been in our district now for 20 years. This is the 20th year of student response teams. They were started by my predecessor, Jeannie Matheson, and still going strong. They are going from grades 7 through 12 and represent all 13 secondary schools. I want to piggyback on what was said before. These kids are handpicked. I've told these kids in their training that they've been auditioning for this position to be on the student response team their whole life, all through kindergarten, all through first, second, wherever it may be, because everybody's always watching us. We're always being watched. We're being auditioned, and these kids were hand-selected to be members of the student response team. Great, great young people. Love them. You guys can smile. There you go. Okay. Pretty nervous. They all said, do we have to talk? I said, no, it's okay. It's okay. So can you hit the next slide for me? I think I'm too far away there. This is the logo. And if you guys want to show your shirts, everybody turn around as well, if you would. The back of it. It says, don't give up, you matter. The suicide prevention hotline, 1-800-273-TALK is the suicide prevention hotline. And these kids know that number. They know it really well. Okay, thank you guys. Turn around again. Stay there. Okay, next slide for me, if you would. Okay. Thank you. I'm basically going to go over what these guys do, but before I do that, I want you guys to raise your hand if you've been on the team for 6 years. Any of my seniors here? Raise your hand high, girl. There you go. That represents 6 years of training. That means she started in 7th grade, and she didn't give up. She's coming back, and we talk about some tough stuff. One of the things that we talk about in our lessons that we're doing right now is the elephant in the room, suicide. These guys are well trained on suicide prevention and intervention, what to do with students that are feeling that way. They're not trained to be counselors. They're not trained to be therapists. They're trained to be the eyes and ears for the counselors and the administration on campus. Every single one of my advisors has told me that somebody on the student response team has brought a student to them or has reported a student to them that was feeling suicidal. This team works. What they're trained to do works. Eyes and ears for the counselors and the administrators. And not just on the day they wear their shirts to school, which is every other week at a minimum, but it's every day, right, guys? That's what you're trained to do. Yeah. Okay. What is the name of the room that we use if you're activated? I can't hear you. There you go. They know these answers. It's called the safe room. They know these answers. They know about the contact person at the school. How do they identify the students that if they're activated, what they will be looking for? We talk about where students hang out, recognizing students other than their social group, where they're hanging out. And I give you guys a challenge. For the junior high kids, I give you a challenge in all 7 of your classes. In the high school, all 8 of your classes. Does somebody want to talk about what that is? One person that has a loud voice? Just one person. Okay, go ahead.
Relationship with, so that that student feels safe with us. And especially we look out for students who normally sit in the back of classrooms or who don't have friends or who are on their phones a lot. Those are 3 big indicators that something's going wrong, and so we try to look for that.
Thank you. Great job. They know their stuff. They know their stuff. 6 years on the team. How many people have been on the team for 5 years? No, 5? 4 years. Great. 3 years. 2? And it's your first year. Great, awesome. Thank you for doing that. We talked to them about rumor control, how rumors can hurt people. We talked to them about rumor control and confidentiality. And then go ahead to the next slide. Lesson 2 is about the elephant in the room, and that's the lesson I'm on right now. They get 3 lessons a year, 45 minutes to an hour, 3 times a year. I just trained, where was I today? Sandridge today, and Bell? I don't remember. Somewhere, yeah. And these guys know the answers. When I quiz them about what to look for, what to say, what to do, what not to do, they know the answers. They've been well trained. Again, they're trained on myth versus fact. There's a lot of myths out there surrounding suicide. It's the causes of suicide and suicide prevention, and should we talk about it? What is one of the main myths I talked to you guys about? If we talk about suicide, does that make people suicidal? Can't hear you. No, it does not. That's a myth. That's a myth. So these guys get a lot of great information. They know the answers. We talked to them about referring students to the Safe Utah app if they need that, and calling 911. They know how to do that if they need to. And they always, always tell an adult. They never keep it a secret. Suicide and suicidal ideation is something that's not kept a secret. Always, always tell an adult. And they're instructed, if the first adult doesn't hear you, then go to the second adult. Find someone until someone will listen to what you're saying, okay? Robert, can I sit this right here? Okay. Guys, the balls. Yeah. One of the demonstrations that we do in the second training is we talk a lot about resiliency, don't we? Resiliency is being able to bounce back when times get tough, isn't it? And for my younger people, the first years, you haven't had this lesson yet, some of you, so it's coming your way. So Dr. Stevens came out last year at Roy High School and got to see this demonstrated. And the kids really get it. They like this lesson. They like the bouncy balls. And this bouncy ball here, as we talk about it, has a lot of different colors on it. And it's all tangled up. It's kind of in knots. And it can represent all the different things that are going on in our lives every day, because we all have a lot going on, don't we? And some days feel like this. And other days, we come with a smiley face, but inside this ball are all those different colors in smaller portions. And an hour of the day can be like this. An hour can be like this, right, guys? But what happens when you throw that ball? What happens to it? It bounces back, doesn't it? What if it doesn't bounce right back to your hands? What happens then? Louder. Say it louder. Somebody else catches it. What I'm trying to teach them and for them to pass along to their fellow students and their classmates is about resiliency, and that if sometimes when things don't go as you plan, when you're throwing that ball around, or if you're having a day like this, but there are other people to reach down and help get that ball and pick it up and help carry you during your struggles. And they love that lesson. You guys got that lesson down good, don't you? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robert. At the end, go ahead to the next one. Lesson 3 is about the trust bank account. We talk about being trustworthy and why it's important, what that looks like. I have a handout I do with them that are trust deposits and trust withdrawals. The qualities of helpful people. And our most constant relationships require our most constant deposits. And the kids are learning this right now at this age. And we talk about body language. We talk about knowing what it looks like when somebody might be having a hard day. And they recognize what that is and what to do with that. Understanding the feelings of others. And then go to the next one. The Ungame. Have you guys ever heard of the Ungame? Some people have. You guys like the Ungame? Yeah, they do. The Ungame, I try and do that almost every training. I don't always get it in. It just depends on the time on the training. But the Ungame is a way for me to wind down on the training with them and gives them a chance to talk about their own opinions on different things. Like one of the questions on the Ungame is said, if you could have any car in the world, what would it be? And they all light up and they all have their answers, right? Yeah. That's just a sample question, but it gives them a chance to talk because these guys have a lot to say. Teenagers have a lot to share. We need to listen to them. So I'm passionate about it, as you can tell. I love these guys. I love going to the schools, to the school board. You've got great representation out there in the schools. The student response teams do good things. So that's my presentation for you tonight. You guys raise your hand and let your parents see you, and we've got to get a picture, so stay there. They're taking pictures tonight, I guess.
Thank you again. Thanks, Gina, for that. It's amazing what these kids on the student response teams can do for parents that are helpless in many situations. So we thank you so much. We will now turn the time over to Dr. Robert Peterson for our independent audit report. This is how much everyone likes the audit. It's okay.
And we're not offended. It's just great. President Richardson and members of the board, we are pleased to present to you the Matt Geddes from Squire & Company. He is our main audit lead along with Ray Bartholomew, and they have completed the audit and are here to present the overall conclusions. And then afterwards, we'd like to have an official vote to accept the audit. Many of you have seen the more details and in-depth presentation in the audit committee and also in other settings. So we'll turn the time to Matt.
Thank you. When I first got here, I was really excited. There were so many people to hear the audit report, and they've all cleared it. I mean, it was standing room only for a while. And I was like, oh, you even moved me to you went to number 6, and I was like, oh, there are going to be people here. And then you went back. But in all seriousness, I appreciate you having me here this evening. There's a lot of work that goes into the financial statements and your compliance reports. A lot of that work is not done by me and my team, but it's actually done by Dr. Peterson and Seth and Dr. Stevens and their team. And we appreciate the effort that they have put in to have this report presented to you. We just get to come in and kind of review and look at things and audit those things and present a report to you, but it's the work that they've done all year long, so we appreciate that. Our audit, we review several things. The first thing we do is review your financial statements. We review your financial statements to ensure they're in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and we do that in accordance with government auditing standards and generally accepted auditing standards. We issue an opinion on your financial statements as part of that. That opinion is that the financial statements present the financial position of the district and their activities throughout the year in all material respects. What that means in English or non-audit language is it's the best opinion we can give. It's an unmodified or clean opinion, or in school district language, it's an A grade. So you're to be commended for that. In addition to the audit of the financial statements, we perform an audit of federal compliance. We select a program specifically, and this year that program was the special education program. That includes the preschool component of that special education program. We review the compliance requirements related to that. That includes how funds are spent, as well as the reporting requirements related to those, and issue an opinion on compliance related to the special education program. Once again, a clean opinion, an unmodified opinion, the best opinion we can give. We also do a report on state compliance in accordance with the Utah State Auditor's Guide of State Compliance, and issue an opinion on state compliance. We once again issue an unmodified or clean opinion related to that. The final report we issue is a report in accordance with government auditing standards. Government auditing standards require that we review your internal control, so your processes, your safeguards that are in place to protect the finances of the district. So we review your internal control over financial reporting as well as over compliance. And had there been items that came to our attention that needed to be reported, we would be required to report those to you tonight. We do not have any of those items to report to you. So once again, kind of a boring report, but that's what you'll want when it comes from an auditor. You don't want excitement. So that's a very positive thing. And once again, we appreciate the effort that's been put in by everybody involved in the district. It doesn't just happen with just the accounting office. It's a cultural thing that happens from the board and communicated to everybody in the district. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's give him a hand. The audit's...
Board, are there any questions of our auditor? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the independent auditor's report for Doug Hirsch, and seconded by Mitzi? All in favor? Any discussion? Robert?
I just want to comment that Squire and Company, this is their second year with us, and they've really served us well and helped us improve and to come up to higher levels of reporting. And we look forward to the next few years with them as our auditor. Also, and they're still here, those directors and program supervisors, in our district, they're very frugal. They want to do what's right, and they're just good, honest people, and the district is in good hands. So that's my 2 bits.
Thank you, Robert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. I'd like to just kind of comment on what you mentioned about it's not just the accounting department. And it truly isn't. One person not following procedures can screw up the audit, and that goes right down to school level. And so we need to commend our accounting department and all our administrators for being on top of this, because it's rare to have a totally clean audit. Some companies think you need to have something bad in there so that you know that you found something, but no, we're happy, and we'd like you to keep it boring, if you would, please. So we have finished our business for this evening, and we have need of to move into a closed session according to the Utah Code 52-4-204 and 205. This meeting is a strategy session to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual. Do I have a motion to move into closed session?
So moved.
Second? Have a second? Rick, second. Robert, could we have a roll call?
Yep. Mitzi Kawaguchi. Janice Christensen. Rick Favero. Doug Hurst. John Ritchie.
Aye.
Brent Richardson.
Aye.
I'd like to note also that board member Dino Bourne is absent today, so it is 6-0.
Okay. Thank you for being with us this evening. We will move into closed session. Thank you.
Jeff?